Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about whether or not Naruto Uzumaki deserves some of the blame if Kawaki's worst fear ends up coming true, which is the creation of a brand new Otsutsuki. Just to be clear, I do believe what Kawaki's done. It is ultimately something that he is responsible for all of his actions. Nobody has ever placed a pistol to his head and told him to go down the route that he's gone down. While Kawaki might have been gaslighted into some of the decisions that he's made and some of the paths that he's gone down were ultimately manufactured by other parties with their own selfish interests, riding on being able to manipulate Kawaki, I do firmly believe that the brunt of the blame rests on Kawaki's shoulders. Not to say that he's a villain or anything, but that does bring me to why we need to have a discussion about Naruto Uzumaki's role in all of this. Join me in today's newest Naruto Explain video where we take a look at why the Hokage, like none other before him, might share some of the blame if Kawaki does end up creating another Otsutsuki by mistake. Now, I can already see there are going to be some people that are upset over this. The moment you ever dare to criticize Naruto Uzumaki for anything, in my experience, it becomes a hot button topic, and there's this rush to defend everything that Naruto's ever done, even back when Naruto was a weekly manga and we used to fight about all this stuff in the late 2000s and early 2010s on the various different manga forums and later on Reddit about some of these suspect things that our lovable crayon eating and lead paint sniffing future Hokage has done in the past. So what I want to do is I want to peel back some of the layers of that lead paint that Naruto might have sniffed off the walls, and I want to see if Naruto does hold some blame, even though he's not currently in the story, which I know the knee-jerk reaction is to say, hey, Naruto, he's not in the story. How is it possible for him to share some blame? Let me be clear. It is still possible for someone to be responsible for something that happens after they've been written out of a story or after they've removed themselves from a situation in general. But there does come a point where personal responsibility does become a thing. So Naruto's decision to take Kawaki in, it was very well intentioned, it was honorable, and most importantly, most underratedly, it was a strategically sound decision, but it undeniably played a role in Kawaki's descent into obsession and madness, and potentially the creation of another Otsutsuki via Amado's daughter being revived if Kawaki's theory goes wrong. So we're going to break down all of this and assess both the causation of Naruto's actions as well as Kawaki's own agency and his own choices, because they are two things that are intertwined. Both characters do share some blame. One character shares more than the other, but here's the thing. So Naruto's responsibility, it's basically the catalyst for Kawaki's obsession. So right now we start off at 40% blame. Naruto at his core has always sought to save others, especially those who remind him of his own past. We saw it with Gaara, where he's like, man, you know, I could have been you if I would have been dealt the same hand that you were dealt. His decision to adopt Kawaki was driven both by empathy. He saw himself in a boy who had been abused and used as a vessel and ultimately deprived of love. Kawaki was that plant that never got enough sunlight and never got enough water. Just as you can overwater a plant and shock the roots, especially if you do it when it's super hot. The same thing can be done with somebody like Kawaki. However, Naruto's reasoning, while super sound and super noble, it also created conditions that fueled Kawaki's unhealthy obsession with him. Naruto was Kawaki's first experience with unconditional love. Kawaki had ever only truly known what it meant to be used and ultimately despised by his own birth father, and then to know fear and control under Jigen. Naruto's genuine care made Kawaki idolize him as not just a father figure, but a irreplaceable cornerstone in Kawaki's entire world. By his own admission, he never expected Naruto to mean as much to him as he did. This extreme attachment made Kawaki incapable of handling the idea of losing Naruto, and it pushed him to irrational extremes, such as killing Boruto and sealing away Naruto. So Naruto's choice. It overrided any type of pragmatic superior measures when you look at it. So Shikamaru, Naruto's closest strategy, his second in command basically, suggested detaining Kawaki. If that had happened, Kawaki would not have formed such a deep personal attachment to Naruto, possibly preventing his obsession from spiraling. Instead, Naruto's argument was that he correctly was best suited to watch over Kawaki because of the Otsutsuki level threats that Sasuke gathered intel and said, hey, these Gaara inners, they might be a big problem. They have Otsutsuki level threats in there. And it was proven right in the short term, but it also created a long-term problem. Naruto ultimately underestimated the psychological dependency that Kawaki would develop by getting so emotionally close to him. Naruto's influence allowed Kawaki to adopt his extreme willingness to make sacrifices, and for someone like Kawaki who has a inherent consequentialist mind state, that is a dangerous combination. It's like having gasoline right next to a raging fire. It's not going to end well. As a matter of fact, it's like having a propane tank next to a raging fire. Naruto's own ideology, protect others at all costs, establish bonds at all costs. It was absorbed by Kawaki, but it was twisted into something extreme. Naruto risked everything more than once to protect Kawaki, even losing Kurama to save him. That is a big deal when you look at where Naruto's character journey started at. Kawaki internalized all this and he applied it in the reverse. If Naruto would die for him, then Kawaki must protect Naruto by any means necessary, even if it meant sealing him away and rewriting reality using omnipotence, even though with omnipotence, it's not something that he willingly did. He didn't know what he was doing when he made contact with Ada, but it is one of those things where once he figured out what happened, Kawaki took advantage of it. Naruto did not correct Kawaki's Otsutsuki focused ideology in time. It's something Naruto's always aware was there and likely shared some belief that like, hey, Otsutsuki are terrible beings, we gotta stop them. But Naruto ultimately, when you look at their interactions in the manga, missed that Kawaki was developing a extremist point of view. Otsutsuki are threats that must be eradicated, period. No exceptions made. It's fine when the threat is Momoshiki. It's fine when the threat is Ishiki. However, Naruto saw firsthand and learned the hard way. This mind state is what led to his decision to kill Boruto. Even before Boruto told Kawaki to kill him, Kawaki was already calling him a demon. And now, when we look at him now after he has sealed Naruto away, he's made it a stated goal to kill Boruto. He also has the willingness to gamble with reviving another Otsutsuki via Amado's daughter if the Coma Seal does go wrong the way that Kawaki fears. And it's all because he wants power in order to be able to protect Naruto. He's willing to take that risk. Naruto could have helped Kawaki develop a more balanced ideology, but his influence was cut short when he was sealed away. He never got that opportunity. The story made the right decision there, don't get me wrong. Had Naruto confronted Kawaki's growing extremists earlier, the situation might not have escalated, but then again, it might have ultimately still got to this point. Now, Kawaki's responsibility, his own agency in choosing the path that he's on, that's where Kawaki, in my opinion, shares 60% of the blame, and that's where it starts. While Naruto's kindness and his decisions ultimately played a role, Kawaki was the one who made his own choices. As I said in the intro, nobody put a pistol to his head or a pistol to his little small kitten or puppy and said, do what I say. His actions cannot be fully blamed on Naruto. Kawaki's obsession is what ultimately warped his judgment. Many people suffer from loss and attachment issues. It is something that makes Kawaki a well-written character, a relatable character, but not all take such extreme actions. Kawaki made the personal choice to seal Naruto away. He made the choice to take advantage of a situation when Boruto's life was swapped with his own. And now, working with Amado, despite the risk of creating another Otsutsuki, he is making those decisions. He's just doing it thinking he's doing what's best for Naruto. Kawaki knows the risk, but he's pursuing these paths of power anyway. Unlike Naruto, who did take risks, he took a lot of risks, some of them boneheaded. But he also took calculated risks for the sake of others. Naruto took a lot of gambles without even realizing he was gambling, and it just happened to pay off. Kawaki, however, is now demanding power from Amado despite knowing it could cause irreversible damage. He's just gonna assume that if he gets all the power that he's asking for, he can kill whatever Otsutsuki is made from his chroma seal if that happens. If reviving Amado's daughter truly results in a new Otsutsuki like he fears, it will be because Kawaki willingly chose to ignore the warning signs, and he is growing increasingly overconfident, over-reliant on the power he wants Amado to give him even before he's gained it all. Kawaki has been shown to reject the guidance from others. As early as what we saw when Sarada was trying to help him with the training in chapter 58, and he's like, nope, Jigen's way's a lot faster. I got no way for this shinobi stuff to be useful. Even after sealing Naruto, Kawaki could have reconsidered his actions, but instead he just doubled down and further isolated himself and pushed towards an increasingly extreme set of measures. He had Shikamaru and others asking, did you kill Naruto? Where is Naruto? And Kawaki never gave them an answer. He was just focused on trying to kill Boruto. He has actively dismissed different perspectives that challenge his ideology. This has happened even before Naruto sealed him away. In that video I did about why Naruto being betrayed by Kawaki was destined to happen, we even considered some of the stuff in the anime to make that point. Kawaki was changing in real time, and it made him more culpable for his descent, period. So in conclusion, I'll say the percentage breakdown for the potential creation of another Otsutsuki and the responsibility that the different parties have, if I had to give it, I still think that 40% is accurate for Naruto. His decision taking Kawaki, his projection of his past as a Jinchuriki, cues sadness and sorrow for Naruto, and his failure to recognize Kawaki's growing extremism, it did set the foundation for the crisis itself. Naruto's not without blame. I could be talked down to say Naruto's at 30%, but I think 40 is a healthy and fair number. Now, Kawaki, on the other hand, his responsibility is his own. That's 60% right there. He's the one who's obsessed. He's the one that made the personal choices. He's the one who has the willingness to take extreme actions despite knowing the risks that make him primarily accountable. Yes, Kawaki has been gaslit in some areas. Yes, Kawaki's consequentialist ideology is something that was developed as a byproduct of what happened growing up under Jigen and growing up under his own father. But at a certain point, you do get to a point where you have to take responsibility for yourself. Using myself as an example, I can't use the fact that I had a drug addict for a father to justify some of the actions I did. I can acknowledge, hey, some of the mind state that I have is a direct result of growing up without him, but ultimately I can't blame him for actions that I've made several years removed. It's the same thing with Kawaki. That's why, again, like Naruto, I give him about 40% because Naruto was in a position, but at the same time, Kawaki was already in possession of that consequentialist mind state. Naruto's primary sin comes from not recognizing that Kawaki had a growing extremist ideology. If Amado's daughter is revived, it will be because Naruto created the environment that allowed Kawaki's obsession to grow. Good intentions, but as they say, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. But Kawaki ultimately is the one who made the final decision, knowing that there are risks attached to it. So the lion's share of the blame does go solely to Kawaki. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and checking out more videos here from Naruto Explained, or clicking over here on the right to check out videos from my Anime Explained channel, where I talk about non-Naruto content in the form of video essays, chapter reviews, explained videos, and so much more.